think that we know and we focus on the idea of speaking as a skill, but not enough on listening as a skill. And really and truly listening to someone else, to listen to their perspective and their point of view takes an extra bit of effort.
It's really hard, you know. I think I don't want to portray the founders as if this was this sort of halcyon period in which everybody had these amazing kumbaya moments, right? I mean, there were long knives drawn, and people were mad at each other, and there were lifelong disagreements that resulted in severed friendships. They are not paragons of virtue, but one thing that they did do, and I think this might be especially applicable for teachers when it comes to questions of classroom management. You know, the Constitutional Convention had a lot of problems and a lot of challenges in the way even that it was structured. But one thing that it did really well was set the parameters by which good debate could happen. And that goes to your point about listening. You know, you have to sit and stay, and even when it gets a little bit tough to listen, right? Hamilton gave a speech that went on for 5 hours. That'd be a little bit long, right, to carry on in any class.
Right.
But if you set the parameters of a debate up where every voice can be heard, even that quieter student that's loath to speak, and that you pave the way for other students to gain that habit of listening. Because really what we're doing in civics is trying to create a disposition, right? It's a habit of heart and mind. It's saying that I'm open to the viewpoints of other people, truly open, that I'm going to be listening in a way. It's by that means that civil society is built. That's one of the remarkable accomplishments of what happened in the Constitutional Convention. Again, it wasn't a matter of saying we're going to figure out how this document will solve everything once and for all, that it will mean an end to disagreement. On the contrary, it's going to be a means of managing the disagreement and of changing such as it needs to by the will of the people through the amendment process. That took a remarkable degree of humility, you know, because they could have said, you know, as they're wrapping up the Constitutional Convention, you know, we really don't want to send this out to the states. That's going to be a big, long, messy process where we have to persuade a bunch of more people, right? We're the learned ones. Why don't we just stick with this plan? And you know, let's just anoint this guy, George Washington. He did a pretty good job as head of the convention. You know, he did a pretty good job being general, leading us to victory in the Revolutionary War. Why don't we just make him the go-to, you know, we don't have to call him a king, but the go-to leader for the next few years. Because this is going to be a lot easier and it's going to be a lot less work. They didn't do that. In an act of humility, they said, you know what, we're going to put it out to the people. And if the people reject this plan, it is rejected. And, you know, it was a very close run thing. Change of a few votes here and a few votes there in a few states, and the Constitution would not have come into being. But their idea was, let's persuade, let's do the hard work of politics, and let's push this thing across the finish line so that it can really create an atmosphere of openness to other people's arguments and ideas.